Hello students, good morning. How are you? I hope you all are very fine. Students, this is my third part. This is the video that I'm making right now. It is the third part of the chapter in the Kingdom of Fools. In the Kingdom of Fools, your English supplementary book Moments, class 9. So students, stay tuned with me throughout the video. Students, in my last two videos, I have explained some of the paras of the story. And we reached up to this line. You must get that dancing girl. I know where she lives. Means there was a problem going on. The blame passed to a dancing girl. The dancing girl who used to go up and down with her anklets jingling sound. And because of that, the person who was building the wall was getting his mind diverted. So the blame given to her. Now it's time to start the next para. So students, please listen my video carefully. You are right. The case depends. We must look into it. It is not easy to judge such complicated cases. Let's get that dancer wherever she is. So now, who ordered? The king, the foolish king of the kingdom ordered to bring that dancing girl. The dancing girl, now an old woman, came trembling to the court. At the present time, the dancing girl was very old. She was an old woman. So she came trembling to the court. Did you walk up and down the street many years ago while this poor man was building a wall? Did you see him? Yes, my lord. I remember it very well. So you did walk up and down with your anklets jingling. You were young and you distracted him. So he built a bad wall. It has fallen on a poor burglar and killed him. You have killed an innocent man. You will have to be punished. So see, the foolish king of that kingdom again and again call out the burglar an innocent man because he was very foolish. So when king told her that did she do it, so she accepted. She accepted that yes, she was there. She was walking up and down in those days with her anklets jingling. So now king told her that she had to be punished. She thought for a minute and said, "My lord, wait. I know now why I was walking up and down that street. I had given some gold to the goldsmith to make some jewelry for me. He was a lazy scoundrel. He made so many excuses, said he would give it now and he would give it then, and so on all day. He made me walk up and down to his house a dozen times." She said, after thinking a minute, she thought and she said to the king, she said, "My lord, it was not my fault. I was walking up and down because of a goldsmith. I had given some work to make some jewelry, and because of that I was going there. That was a person. The goldsmith was a person who made me walk up and down, means continuously few days. That's why I was there. It was not my fault. It was a fault of that goldsmith. That was when this bricklayer saw me. It's not my fault, my lord. It's the damned goldsmith fault. So she told that it was not her fault because she was going there because of the goldsmith. Poor thing, she's absolutely right, thought the king, waiting the evidence. We have got the real culprit at last. Get the goldsmith wherever he is hiding at once. The king's bailiffs searched for the goldsmith who was hiding in a corner of his shop. When he heard the accusation against him, he had his own story to tell. My lord, he said, I am a poor goldsmith. It's true I made this dancer come many times to my door. I gave her excuses because I couldn't finish making her jewelry before I finished the rich merchant's order. They had a wedding coming and they wouldn't wait. You know how impatient a rich man are. Now, again this dancing girl blamed to the goldsmith, and the goldsmith, when goldsmith was called, when king ordered his bailiffs, means his servants, when he ordered his servants to bring that goldsmith, then goldsmith, after coming in the court, he told that it was not his fault. It was fault of a rich merchant who pressurized him. The rich merchant pressurized the goldsmith to complete his jewelries at first. That's why he couldn't complete the jewelry given by that dancing girl. So that the goldsmith made that dancing girl come again and again to his door. So ultimately the goldsmith blamed or passed the blame to the rich merchant. What happens next? See, who is this rich merchant who kept you from finishing this poor woman's jewelry, made her walk up and down, which distracted this bricklayer, which made a mess of his wall, which has now fallen on an innocent man and killed him? Can you name him? So now the king was very curious to know about the name of that rich merchant, because finally he came to a person who made or who was the guilty. So the king ordered, who is that man? Who is that rich man? The goldsmith named the merchant, and he was none other than the original owner of the house, whose wall had fallen. Whose wall had fallen. Now justice had come full circle, thought the king. Back to the merchant. So, who was that rich man? Who was that rich merchant? The same owner of the house whose wall had fallen on the thief. So, see, the people started blaming to one and then another. Means it was going to one then another. Means at first the blame to the merchant, and then merchant to the another person, the bricklayer then passed to the dancing girl. The dancing girl passed the blame to the goldsmith. Then again goldsmith passed the blame to the rich merchant. The same owner of the house. So the blame went through a circle to the same person. Goes through a circle and reached at the same point. When he was rudely summoned back to the court, he arrived crying. It wasn't me, but my father who ordered the jewelry. He's dead. I'm innocent. It was a very old time when the wall was built up. So the rich merchant, when he was summoned, means again he was called back to the king's court. So he came crying and he loudly said to the king that, my lord, it was not my fault. My lord, it is not my fault. It was in my father's time. So my father was present there. Now my father is no more. He is dead. And it was my father's fault because the world built in his time. And I am innocent. He started crying and said to the king that he was innocent because it was a fault of his father. But the king consulted his minister and ruled decisively. It's true, your father is the true murderer. He's dead, but somebody must be punished in his place. You have inherited everything from that criminal father of yours. His riches as well as his sins. I knew at once, even when I first set eyes on you, that you were at the root of this horrible crime. You must die. So when this rich merchant said to the king that he was innocent and his father, who was no more that time, he just passed the blame to his father because the world was built in his father's time. Then the foolish king, consulted his minister and finally they came to a decree. What was the decree? Decree means the final decision. What was the final decision? The final decision was the king said to the merchant that of course the murderer was his father, but in his place somebody has to be punished. The king said to the merchant that he had to be punished in his father's place because he got everything from his father. He got his richness as well as his all problems, his all sins. He herited. Okay, he herited his riches as well as his all sins. That's why he had to be punished in his father's place. So finally, king said that the rich merchant had to die. So, next line. And he ordered a new stake to be made ready for the execution. As the servants sharpened the stake and got it ready for the final impaling of the criminal, it occurred to the minister that the rich merchant was somehow too thin to be properly executed on the stake. He appealed to the king's common sense. The king too worried about it. So, the king ordered to make the stake to kill or to execute, to get the criminal executed. So, they made the servants of the king made the stake. What is a stake? stake is a kind of rod. Stake is a kind of rod which is used to kill a person. So they made a stake, a killing object. Okay, stake means a killing object. They made it, but they again fell in a problem. What was the problem? The stake was not suitable for this person because the rich merchant was very thin. He was too thin to fit in the stake. So the ministers and the servants consulted the foolish king, and what they said? They said that it was not suitable for the merchant, rich merchant. So they were in problem. Even king was in a problem. They thought it was not suitable for him because the rich merchant was very thin for the stake. So what happens? What shall we do? He said. So students, see, the stake that they prepared to kill the rich merchant, it was not suitable. Why? Because the rich merchant was too thin to be executed by the stake. So students, just this video is over. Okay, for this video up to here, I'll try to complete rest of the story in my next video, in video number 4. So thank you very much. Bye.